Do your legs feel weaker, or has your grip lost its strength? Many attribute these changes to the normal course of aging, but what if the real issue is rooted in the choices you make each morning? Today, we reveal the number one breakfast that is covertly associated with a muscle decline in older adults. And we suggest alternatives to help maintain your strength, balance, and independence. Let us consider the truth surrounding sarcopenia, beginning with what is on your plate. Perhaps you start your day with little more than a cup of coffee and a slice of toast. An innocuous routine practiced by many. However, this seemingly minor habit, repeated without much thought, could be contributing to the gradual weakening of your muscles, reduced energy, and diminishing balance. Following a night's sleep, your muscles are vulnerable. They have gone hours without nourishment and are in urgent need of sustenance to initiate the repair process. Without the required nutrients at breakfast, your body enters a state of catabolism, meaning it begins breaking down muscle tissue for energy rather than rebuilding it. This is precisely how sarcopenia, the progressive loss of muscle mass due to age, commences. Contrary to common belief, sarcopenia is not solely determined by advancing years, but rather by inadequate muscle support, with breakfast playing a pivotal and often neglected role. Research from the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism reveals that muscle protein synthesis, the body's method of restoring muscle, reaches its peak after waking. However, this essential process only takes place when you supply your body with adequate nutrients. Should your first meal of the day be limited to coffee, toast, or a sugary cereal, your muscles do not receive the critical signal to rebuild. In fact, your body may persist in breaking them down, especially if your chosen breakfast is rich in refined carbohydrates and deficient in protein. This combination instigates a surge in blood sugar, quickly followed by a drop, leaving you temporarily energetic, but soon fatigued, unfocused, or unstable, while at the same time depriving your muscles of essential nutrients. Many older adults are unaware they are not consuming sufficient protein in the morning. Even when you feel satiated, your body may still be lacking the fundamental materials required for maintaining muscle. So, what constitutes a suitable breakfast for combating muscle loss? The answer is straightforward yet impactful. Opt for genuine nourishment. Include a source of protein, such as eggs, yogurt, or nut butter, combined with healthy fats and complex carbohydrates like oats or whole grain bread. Hydration is also crucial. Beginning your day with a glass of water enhances nutrient absorption, improves circulation, and fosters healing and flexibility. A complete dietary overhaul is unnecessary. Even modest additions, such as half a boiled egg, a spoonful of peanut butter, or a handful of nuts, can initiate the repair process. By making these choices, you communicate to your body that retaining muscle strength remains a priority. The first meal of the day can influence muscle performance, recovery, and longevity. Let us now address a second common error, a habit so commonplace that it is rarely questioned, yet one that may exacerbate muscle loss as much as neglecting breakfast altogether. The allure of sweet foods in the morning, a bowl of cereal, flavored yogurt, a muffin, or orange juice, is understandable as such items appear comforting and convenient. However, for older adults, these sugary options can sabotage muscle integrity in subtle but significant ways. The detriments of sugar to blood sugar regulation and weight are well documented, but its direct impact on muscle strength is less frequently discussed. Refined sugar rapidly elevates blood glucose, triggering the release of insulin to normalize levels. Habitual fluctuations of sugar and insulin lead to chronic inflammation, impairing the body's capacity for muscle repair and growth. The American Journal of Clinical Nutrition has demonstrated that excessive sugar intake reduces muscle protein synthesis, the very mechanism required to reconstruct muscle after activity. Thus, even light exercise or stretching might be rendered ineffective, as sugar at the cellular level impedes recovery and strength building. Furthermore, refined sugar escalates oxidative stress. Your body rapidly accumulates free radicals, which can damage healthy cells. Over time, sustained oxidative stress leaves muscles weaker, more fatigued, and less responsive to exertion. Sugar's presence in the diet is not always obvious. It often hides in fruit-flavored yogurts, instant oatmeals, energy bars, salad dressings, and even cereals. Marketed as healthy, consequently many believe their breakfasts are wholesome, while in reality they initiate a cascade of inflammation and deprive their muscles of support. The solution is straightforward but demands awareness. Closely read ingredient labels for hidden sugars, such as glucose, fructose, corn syrup, cane juice, and maltodextrin. For sweet cravings, favor fresh fruit, jam berries or sliced pears, and add flavor with the cinnamon or vanilla instead of sugar. Select plain Greek yogurt in lieu of its flavored counterparts and choose whole grain over white bread. Each small modification mitigates inflammation and enhances your muscles' ability to remain robust, ultimately supporting your balance, coordination, and recovery from everyday mishaps. Another critical but frequently overlooked factor is hydration, especially in the morning. Many people attend to hydration only during meals or intermittently throughout the day, yet muscles are composed of approximately 75% water. And this is not merely a trivial fact. It is fundamental to muscle function, flexibility, and rejuvenation. Dehydration, more common among older adults due to a less reliable sense of thirst, can set in before you notice any symptoms, and by then, your muscles may already be compromised. Inadequate hydration impairs blood circulation, resulting in reduced delivery of nutrients and oxygen to muscles, as well as slower removal of waste products like lactic acid. Stiffness, soreness following brief walks, and dizziness upon standing may all be indicators of dehydration. The issue is compounded by the consumption of caffeinated beverages and sugary drinks, which act as diuretics and further deplete the body's water reserves. A simple remedy is to drink a glass of water first thing in the morning before consuming coffee or breakfast. Try also to have water before each meal. Keep a bottle within reach and sip regularly. If water alone seems bland, add a lemon, cucumber, or mint. Water-rich foods like melon, cucumber, and oranges can also aid hydration. Aim for approximately 6 to 8 glasses per day, especially if physically active, on medication, or in a warm environment. hydration extends beyond averting cramps. It is vital for maintaining balance, independence, and the confidence to move freely without fear of falling. Let us now address an often daunting concept, but one that is perhaps most effective for mitigating muscle loss after the age of 60: strength training. There is a common perception that such activity is exclusive to the young or the athletic, that it involves heavy weights and gym visits, and is therefore inaccessible or even unwise for older adults. In truth, strength training becomes increasingly important with age. Individuals over 30 can lose between 3% and 5% of their muscle mass each decade. And by the age of 60, this loss accelerates unless actively countered. Muscle depletion leads to declining strength, stability, and self-assurance. The changes are insidious everyday activities, such as climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or standing from a low chair gradually become more challenging. This is sarcopenia at work. However, this process can not only be halted, but reversed. Research in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning. Research indicates that as little as 2 half-hour strength sessions each week can significantly improve muscle mass, balance, and walking speed in older adults. This does not necessitate a gym membership or lifting heavy weights. Simple activities suffice. Standing up and sitting down from a chair without using your hands. Holding a standing pose for balance. Wall push-ups. Lifting household items. Or using resistance bands. Consistency, more than intensity, is key. The objective is not to build large muscles, but to signal to your body that they are needed, prompting them to become more resilient and supportive for daily life. Think of strength exercises as a form of communication to your muscles, encouraging them to remain active and necessary. The broader benefits include better posture, reduced risk of falls, joint support, and, above all, the restoration of personal agency. Even a modest 10 minutes per day can bring lasting improvements. Commence at your own pace, concentrate on proper form, and allow your muscles to recall their capabilities over time. You may already be practicing good habits, regular walking, adequate water intake, stretching, and gentle strength exercises. Yet, if your nutrition is dominated by foods that promote inflammation, often disguised as harmless, your muscles may continue to suffer. Muscle health is as much about what you consume as about how you move. With every meal, you can either quell muscle growth and repair or contribute to their decline. Some of the chief dietary offenders are sugary soft drinks, including both regular and diet forms, processed meats such as deli slices, sausages, or ham, refined carbohydrates such as white bread, white rice, and ordinary pasta, and fast foods fried in unhealthy oils. These foods promote inflammation, raise blood sugar, and provide negligible nutrition, undermining muscle recovery and function. Even snacks like crisps, crackers, and packaged cakes, or drinks like energy beverages, sweetened creamers, and flavored yogurts contain additives and salt that contribute to muscular and joint stiffness. The central issue is that such products are ubiquitous and often marketed as convenient or even healthy, allowing their negative effects to accumulate gradually and often without obvious warning signs. The solution is not to renounce all foods of comfort, but to make intelligent substitutions. Select fresh foods over processed whole grains instead of refined flours. lean proteins or legumes in place of processed meat, and olive oil in preference to frying. Incorporate natural anti-inflammatory foods such as vegetables, berries, turmeric, or nuts. Foods in their natural state provide the genuine nourishment muscles require to recover and remain strong. Another widespread daily habit among older adults is a regular painkiller use for relief from stiffness or discomfort. While medications like ibuprofen or acetaminophen can be helpful when truly necessary, it's an unnecessary habitual use can quietly undermine muscle repair. When you move, minor tears form in your muscles, an entirely normal and healthy process that prompts the body's natural inflammation and signals the need for repair and strengthening. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs, reduce inflammation but also diminish this crucial signal, thereby impeding muscle growth. A study in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that long-term NSAID use can inhibit muscle protein synthesis, the conversion of amino acids into new muscle fibers. Interrupting this process often enough can result in diminished responsiveness to activity, slower recovery, and eventually noticeable muscle loss. Moreover, excessive painkiller consumption burdens the liver and kidneys, disrupts digestion, and impairs nutrient absorption, all of which are vital for muscle maintenance. Of course, there are circumstances where pain relief is justified: post-surgical recovery, significant injury, or chronic inflammatory conditions. However, if daily usage has become routine, it is worth considering alternative methods, such as warm compresses, Epsom salt baths, gentle stretching, anti-inflammatory foods like ginger or fatty fish, adequate hydration, and relaxation techniques. Consult with your healthcare provider about the long-term implications of regular painkiller use to ensure your muscle health is preserved. The topic of protein also warrants attention. Contrary to common assumptions, protein is not just the preserve of athletes. In older age, protein becomes more important, not less, as muscle breakdown accelerates with age, while the ability to rebuild slows. Studies recommend older adults consume 1.2 to 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, amounts that most seniors do not approach, placing their muscles in a state of continual deprivation. It is not unusual to find that typical meals, toast for breakfast, soup for lunch, rice and veg for dinner, while comforting, offer insufficient protein for muscle maintenance, and adjusting this need not be arduous. Incorporate a protein-rich option at each meal: a scrambled egg, Greek yogurt, nut butter on whole grain toast, lentils, beans, fish, chicken, or tofu. Even a smoothie with oats, milk, and protein powder helps substantially. The key is not more food, but smarter choices. Remember, muscles are built in the kitchen, not merely through activity. Protein supports not only muscle growth, but also balance, immune function, recovery from an injury, and energy throughout the day. Without enough protein, all of these diminish. Finally, one often overlooked element of muscle health is sleep. Muscles do not grow while you are active, they grow during rest. Insufficient or poor quality sleep restricts the time your muscles have to recover and rebuild. In sum, muscle preservation in later life does not demand perfection, but rather conscious and incremental changes. Drink more water and include protein at breakfast. Stand and stretch during the day. Each of these signals to your body that it is still needed and valued. True strength beyond 60 is not forged by a single dramatic decision, but through consistent, mindful choices. Movement over inactivity, nourishment over convenience, and action over hesitation. Your body is attentive to these cues. The question remains, what message will you choose to convey?